Welcome back to Quinte Connection, and thank you to Mayor Ferguson for taking his time to giving us an update on his business situation. Well, joining us now, just down the road in downtown Belleville, is Marijo Cuerrier, Executive Director of Belleville Downtown District BIA. Marijo, thank you so much, and we're excited to learn more about this marketplace initiative.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. We're excited to share it with our local community for sure. It's a great initiative. It not only does it help our downtown businesses thrive during this time, or at least try and thrive, or gives them a platform to do so, but it also allows the community to support hyper-local businesses in a very user-friendly way.
When the pandemic hit, what was the mood on the streets of downtown Belleville?
I would say probably there were a lot of people who were panicked, in shock, definitely on the negative. So it was a rough, probably about a week, as everybody was adjusting to, okay, this isn't just something that's going to last for a day or two. They really mean that we can't come to our store. They really mean that people aren't going to come to our store. And, sort of digesting that, I think, was difficult for the community in general, but especially for store owners who are very social animals, to suddenly be told, well, guess what? You're basically going to be isolated. And then when it hit that it was, going to be longer term than that, there were a lot of people that were really, really frightened. There's a lot of financial implications to that. There's a lot of social and economic implications, and even mental health implications. So it was a rough time.
So enter the marketplace then, something that was discussed for some time later on in the future.
Yeah, so my colleague Kelsey and I, who work for the BIA, and then we have a board of directors that oversees what we do, and we have a great chair, Catherine Brown. And so Catherine and myself and Kelsey put our heads together and pulled out our 2021 plans for a marketplace. And we spent the weekend seeing what was out there in terms of technology. The technology to do a marketplace, which is very different than just a regular e-commerce store where you're just shopping for one store at a time. Marketplaces like Amazon is a marketplace, eBay is a marketplace. So we checked out some of the technology that was available that wasn't available a few months ago when we were looking. We went through sort of a 48-hour crazy time of just trying to see if this would work. Felt that it was a good solution for the businesses on the street that were suffering the most, which is food and beverage, our retail sector, and some of the service industries. And then we pitched it to the board. They said, pivot, do whatever you got to do to get this site up. And that was a risk in itself, because we didn't know whether the businesses were going to want it. But once we got a prototype up and were able to show them the ease at which it was going to be for them to be able to put their own products up and still maintain a level of individuality, which is important for entrepreneurs in downtowns. We had 25 people sign up within days, and now we have another 4 stores coming online in the next couple of days. So we're almost up to 30. We have over 700 products for sale. We've had over 160 orders in less than 2 weeks. And people are really embracing it. It's crazy. People are shopping in the middle of the night.
That's good. That's great to hear. Now, we heard from Catherine Brown that you were pitching this idea and presenting this to other BIAs around Ontario. Could you talk more about the reception there?
Yeah, so we belong to OBIA, as I had mentioned, which is the Ontario Business Improvement Association. There's probably 300 plus different BIAs. And we were meeting with them on Zoom twice a week. When we came up with this solution, it's very much a collaborative organization. So we were all looking for solutions. How can we help our members? And we pitched this to the people that were on the call, which were about 60, and they just pounced on us. We were like, okay, give us a few weeks. Let's get it up and rolling, and then we'll see where we're at. And in the meantime, we were contacted by the Economic Development Association of Canada, which is economic development managers and directors all across Canada, asking us to do a webinar for them. So we put together a webinar for them. We did that last week for 250 plus people that joined. And then we did one for OBIA this morning. There were about 50 40 or 50 people on that call. And the reception is really, I think, just everybody's really excited that there's something that we can do to help our businesses. And it's not, it's long-term. It's not just about COVID. It's not just about this time, but it's about staying hyper local and understanding how important it is to keep our money in our communities.
Do businesses in Belleville have to pay to be on the site or have their products housed on the site?
You don't need to pay to be on the site. That's something that the BIA had, we went to the board and asked if this was something that we could invest in. But you do have to be a member of the BIA. A member of a BIA is based on where you're located.
What's some of the reaction you've been getting on Instagram? Because you've had some fantastic images encouraging people to stay positive and keep up the positive thoughts. Yeah,
it's Instagram is my favorite platform. It's just so positive and also very collaborative. So yes, we've had a really good uptake of people sharing, being excited, commenting. We had some of our highest engagement numbers yet when we launched the marketplace. It came along with a contest. So that was one of the reasons we had so many comments and likes, etc. We've also had a lot of engagement on Instagram, as everybody has, with good news stories. So we had some good news stories on our street to do with our members, and people just like to hear that stuff, that, you know, we're so conditioned to listen to the news every night and sort of information gather, and it tends to be all frightening. To hear that there are people that are thriving or trying to help, I think is part of that.
What's one of your favorite stories right now that stands out for you as you scroll through your Instagram feed like most of us are doing these days?
Oh, I think that the most exciting one for me, so Paul Dinkle, who owns Dinkle's and Paulo's restaurant, last Wednesday, Tuesday, he contacted me and said, we're going to give away 250 free meals to first responders and healthcare workers. Wednesday, I stopped by around the time that I knew it would be happening. And I sat in my car and watched as car after car pulled up with people getting out in their scrubs or in their uniforms, or police officers, or, you know, whoever it was, went in and coming out with their bags. And it just really touched me, because I thought, here most nurses and people in hospitals are doing 12-hour shifts, as they often do anyway, but they're probably even doing more. All they have to do is come from the hospital, pick up their dinner for the evening. It was just, it was really a sight to see. And I know that Paul Dinkle's the people that work for Paul, they volunteered for the evening. So it was touching.
That's good. Now, what's next for you and Kelsey and Catherine when it comes to plans, as we unfortunately get thinking about longer term plans right now?
We are hoping, this was in some ways, I guess, the good that came out of COVID is that a couple of things. I think that as a community, we learned how important it is to stay local, shop local, keep the economy going in our local area. So this sort of forced us into that mode of thinking, like, before you go and shop online, go check first if there's an online store here that has it, or a local entrepreneur that carries the same product. And then secondly, I think we really are hoping that this has given our members, so our businesses, an opportunity to go, okay, this isn't so bad. The digital world isn't the enemy of brick and mortar. And hopefully going forward, it will be part of their whole business plan, because really, who doesn't enjoy shopping on their couch? Mm-hmm. And even if you don't press the buy button that night, you now know where your destination is tomorrow, because you want to try something on, or you want to see what other colors they have. So hopefully, and we'll do our best to support our businesses through that transition. But I think it's going to be exciting. It's a new way to spread the word about downtown, and then again for other people to support us.
With your experience for other business owners watching in different areas, what are some of a bit of advice you give them right now? Is it more so just embrace the online world, or perhaps just be a bit more informed with what you can do?
Well, I do a lot of reading to do with this particular topic, and I would say the main message right now, anything to do with retail, for sure retail is you need to have a balance of both. It's critical. The before COVID happened, the retail landscape was already shifting and changing in terms of people shopping online. So of course we don't want to have our streets be empty. That's not the goal, but the goal is to have an integrated approach to retail. And then, and also that also goes for food and beverage. But then the second part is making sure that whatever you're offering in your space is experiential. It's something that the human being can interact with. And I think sometimes why people come to the downtown is because they can interact with an entrepreneur that actually cares about, they've chosen these products specifically because they think that you're going to like them. They're excited to tell you about them, and relationship is built that way.
All right, Marijo, what's your tips for making sure that we all are effectively working from home right now?
Use Zoom a lot and talk to your sisters if you have any. And if you don't, talk to your dog. Just get out of the house as much as you can. Probably not supposed to say that, but you know, socially, responsibly distanced, and hang tight.
Marijo Cuerrier, you're right, a good balance is what we need. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Marijo Cuerrier and Mayor Steve Ferguson with Prince Edward County and downtown Belleville. Well, that concludes Quinte Connection, but before we leave, we'll give you a preview on the show to come next week. More we'll have on the Trenton Military Wives Choir. They have launched a new campaign to help Trenton Memorial Hospital Foundation and our frontline workers called 500 Mile Campaign. We'll have a representative on next week to talk about that. In the meantime, though, take care and have a good week.
The Canadian Military Wives Choirs Trenton has watched the overwhelming efforts of so many over the past several weeks, and we were inspired to make our own contribution. We are partnering with the Trenton Memorial Hospital Foundation to make sure our frontline healthcare workers have access to everything they need to be protected and care for the community.
I pledge to walk 500 miles for you, Trenton Memorial Hospital.
Because you're not stopping working for me, I'm walking 500 miles for you.
Each day we wake up and we know that you are going to be the ones who are taking care of us.
Between May 1st and May 31st, we are walking 500 miles for you, Trenton.
I will walk 500 miles for you.
We can sing and we can walk for you, Trenton.
When I go out, oh, I know I'm gonna be the one who goes out next to you. Right, Gaston?
Where would I go and what would I do? I can only count the steps. I will walk for you. I am pledging, along with my choir sisters, to walk 500 miles in support of the Trenton Memorial Hospital Foundation.
When I go around Trenton downtown, I know that I got 5 clicks today.
If you support the community, they will support you. I will walk 500 miles for you, Trenton, one step at a time.
Watch our Facebook page and follow the Trenton Memorial Hospital Foundation page for more information on how you can help us to give back to those who give so much to us.